Hi, welcome back. We're starting a new chapter today, and in fact, we're starting a brand new unit, Unit 2, called Mechanics 2. Mechanics 2 because we're continuing with what we've done in Unit 1. We'll see more ways we can describe the motion of given objects. And in this unit, we're going to talk about energy, momentum, oscillations, waves, rotation, and fluids. So we've got a lot to cover, but a lot of very interesting topics. And I know some of these are of interest to a lot of you. There's a lot of applications. And also here we're starting with chapter 4. We'll talk about work and energy. And I know a lot of you are using energy for your final project. So this should be interesting. All right, so in this chapter, we're going to introduce the idea of work, but not in the same way that you usually talk about work. So we'll introduce work in its more physical definition. All right, and we'll see how we can use this to transfer energy, so using a force acting over a distance. We'll talk more about that. We'll look at different types of energies and how your energy can be transferred again from one type of energy to another. And so we'll define here what those types of energies are, starting with kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is associated with objects that are in motion. So if they have a speed, they will have a kinetic energy, and we'll see how to measure that and how to calculate that, and why it's going to be important and how it's going to relate to this idea of work that we will have just defined using what we call the work energy theorem. Then after that, we'll talk about another type of energy, which is potential energy, which is something that we can use to store energy. We'll start with gravitational potential energy. And an example of this is that if I lift my pen here, I'm exerting a force against gravity. So I'm essentially producing work. That work can be stored when my pen is up here as potential energy. You'll see that in the activity and discussion for this week, you'll be looking at a video that uses gravitational potential energy to build a battery. All right. We'll see how energy is conserved and how again, how does it work when we're transferring energy? How is energy lost to the environment or not? Another type of energy that can be stored is the spring potential energy, which is also called elastic potential energy. So you can store energy in the spring, and we'll see how to do that. And finally, we'll talk about power. And with power, we're going to address the fact that depending on how long a force is going to be providing work, you'll get more or less power. And so you can see that we'll use our definition of work and we'll add the time information to define power. This is all things that are important in your everyday life for a number of reasons, but if you're even just reading your energy statement or your electricity bill, you'll see various units that we will introduce. We'll look at the difference between energy, power, that kind of thing. And these are topics that are also very important for the rest of the semester. You'll see that we'll keep talking about energy quite often. And so we'll get back to those topics quite often. All right, so thank you. And I look forward to working with you on this chapter, and stay tuned for more videos coming up. Thank you. Bye.